Family and friends, welcome to Cues on the Move. I'm Donald Williams II. I'm the proud chairman for the Fatherhood Initiative and Mentoring Committee. The second district comprises of approximately 85 chapters in the great states of New York, New Jersey, Delaware, Pennsylvania, and Maryland. And on behalf of the 37th District Representative, Brother Kevin Mfofo, and the brothers of the mighty second district, again, we welcome you to this segment of Cues on the Move. Family, since the founding of our beloved fraternity, approximately 110 has been about working tirelessly. It has been about engaging and collectively impacting to strengthen families through mentoring, through mentorship. And we want in our young people, especially our young males, and uplifting and engaging our young fathers, our dads, our men with being present and engaging and helping their children grow and glow into young adults. I'm so proud of this generation of Omega men that have been steadfast, that have been committed to making a difference every day in communities across this great nation through mentorship. A shout out to all of our chairmen. We are grateful. Did I say grateful? We are grateful for all you do to make a difference in your community, in your neighborhood, in your township, in your boroughs, in your city. I have a jingle at the end of my email that I always say, mentoring every day, hashtag everywhere, hashtag shaping lives. My friends, mentoring matters, and in the words of my good friend, Brother Stevens, mentoring works. And with that, I'll pass the mic to my trusted co-heart and co-host for this Cues on the Move is my friend Jeffrey Diggs for his welcome remarks.
Hello, and tell you what, it's amazing. We're 103 days into 2022, another year going rapidly. And before I do a quick closure, I want to give a shout out to the Stanton Group. They make us shine. They make us look great every single week, and we come out here and do this. So with that being said, is like I just wanted to just bring this quick disclosure to you that the comment and views expressed by our guests tonight are of their own and not necessarily represent the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, nor the entities in which our guests are affiliated with. So with that said, let's get the show on the road tonight because we've got a lot of information that's got to go out in a little bit of time.
Hey Jeff, I'm excited. I'm excited, man, about today's topic. It's part two. Silent crisis in education that no one is talking about. Brother Diggs, I'm also excited. We have three distinguished leaders in education to join us in this moment. You know, a lot is going on. We've been hunkered down for 2 years in the pandemic. We are now coming out of a pandemic with proper prayerfully protocols. Masks are now optional. I was talking to a teacher last week, and they're saying the interesting thing is that, hey, the students are wearing their masks, and the person without the mask that was discarded with the teachers. So it's been interesting. You know, as a matter of fact, everyone has been subject to the social injustice, okay, the tragic death of George Floyd, the Black Lives Matter movement, a toxic political environment. You know, we got midterms around the corner. A lot of our students had to contend with food deserts and technology deserts. A lot of us, you know, lost loved ones the last 2 years. So a lot has gone on the past 2 years. And the focus, you know, in the pandemic was that all school districts was focusing on getting their children back into the school building. And now we are back in the school building. The question is it business as usual? So I'm excited about today's topic. No one's talking about the major challenges of educating our young people. No one's talking about how to help parents, you know, with the making hope happen. No one's talking about the recovery plan. And so with that, Jeff, go ahead and do the honors, man. Just let's get into this conversation.
Yeah, so great. We have three distinguished gentlemen with us this evening. These are the heavy hitters, as we call them, and so I want to take the time to introduce them and get their viewpoint. First up is we brought back my friend Dr. Carlton Lampkins. Dr. Lampkins retired from the Delaware Public School System in 2016 as the Deputy Superintendent of Delaware Public School System, and where he served several roles as an educator for 36 years. He's currently the Executive Director of Community in Schools of Delaware, the premier dropout prevention program in the country. And we brought back also Dr. Leroy Evans, who is currently the principal of Magruder High School in Rockville, Maryland. Dr. Evans leads the best continuously thriving schools, academic and socially, with a diverse population in Montgomery County, Maryland. He's been an educator for over 40 years, with 30 years as an administrator. And we have with us our brother, Dr. William Cooper from New York. Dr. Cooper has 27 years of progressive experience and accomplishments as a teacher, include 9 years as a principal in Brooklyn, New York. He's played an integral role in the molding and shaping of tomorrow's minds, today's leaders. I'd see young people as today's leaders, not as tomorrow's leaders. And he serves as District 27 in Queens as a director of continuous improvement. So I want to thank you three brothers for being here, bringing your wealth of knowledge and helping us to understand what's going on right now and maybe set forth hopefully a path to what we can do next. So with that, Brother Williams, your question for our panel.
Well, let's go to the clip, and then let's go to the clip, and then we ask, starting with Dr. Lampkin, what he's seeing. Let's look at the clip, please.
All across the country, students are facing unprecedented challenges.
We're all really struggling.
Basically, it sucks.
I'm definitely less interested.
We've been following 16 students since the first day of school, and they echo what was found in our massive national survey.
I've never felt so much stress in one school year.
The study surveyed 75,000 students from 2018 to 2020, and in the fall of 2020 alone, found that over 56% of students said their stress related to school increased compared to the time before coronavirus.
I definitely feel very stressed.
I probably get around like 4 to 5 hours of sleep.
Why am I having so many mental breakdowns?
In October, we saw that in our student in Chicago. Allegra went from frustration with online glitches
the whole thing would just like kick me out
to a near meltdown.
I don't understand, and I can't ask teachers for help.
And looking back now, what was your lowest moment of the school year so far?
It would be that time I cried over my physics project. At that point, I was like, this online is not going to work.
The study also found 41% said their effort toward learning decreased.
My attention definitely decreased.
I'm still surprised at how much online's affecting me.
That was John in Pennsylvania last December. Now he says he's constantly distracted.
Snow blowers, dogs barking, parents going in and out, and it really can mess with me.
Another finding, 50% of students said the strength of their relationships with teachers has decreased.
I kind of sent a follow-up email to one of my teachers, kind of just like telling him about everything that's been going on. And it took him almost like 4 days to respond.
Do I believe kids will be okay? And will they make it? Absolutely. Will they be able to do that alone? No.
Learning how to manage.
I'm just trying to think positively.
I'm trying my best.
In a year filled with the unexpected. Rahima Ellis, NBC News.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lampkins. No one's talking about the recovery plan. Lead us off. Get us started in this conversation. You're muted, my brothers. You're muted.
All right, there we go. Thank you, Brother Williams. Good evening to the other panelists. Good evening to everyone watching Q's on the Move, this part 2 session of education around the pandemic. The last time we talked about, Zoom fatigue, stress, learning or the lack thereof over the last couple of years. We just had a real open conversation about the impact of the pandemic on education in this country. And so we, I think, know what the challenges are, what the negative impact has been. My concern now is what kind of training opportunities are being created and implemented for the mental wellness of staff and students, because that's what stress is all about. It's all about the lack of mental wellness. What kinds of programs are we putting in place? What kinds of staff are we putting in place to help our staff and our students to overcome some of the stress that they've encountered? Many of our students have had serious bouts with depression, anxiety. One young man in the clip talked about not being focused. Sometimes we call that in education attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. What are we doing to help those students? What are we doing to help staff help students? What are we doing to help staff do what's called self-care? Are we into mindfulness? Are we into yoga? Do we have time in the schedule for teachers to take a deep breath, for students to take a deep breath? Also, what are we doing as it relates to probably the most important negative aspect of the pandemic is learning loss? I've had the experience recently of mentoring a young man in the 5th grade. I started via Zoom. I can tell you after 2 sessions, I was like, this is not working. This is not good for me. And I began to think about, was there any learning going on? Because this young man was just one of those moving. He was moving all the time, fidgety, not focused, accidentally, if you will, turning off the camera, turning off the sound. And I finally had to say to the principal, I can only do this if I come in person. And so for the last 2 sessions, we've had it in person. I am of the mind that the learning loss is far greater than what people are willing to admit, because I'm having a level of experience that says, not a lot was happening in the 2 years as it relates to cognitive and social emotional development. Brother Williams, back to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Dr. Cooper, William Cooper. No one's talking about the major challenges.
Yes,
share some of your thoughts.
Sure. And I just want to start by saying thank you to everyone for allowing me to be here tonight for this very important conversation. I wanted to share an article entitled COVID-19 in Education, The Lingering Effects of Unfinished Learning. It was published by the McKinsey & Company group in July of 2021. And they reported in this that the impact of the pandemic on K-12 student learning was significant, leaving students on average 5 months behind in mathematics and 4 months behind in reading by the end of the school year. And the crisis had an impact not just on academics, as Brother Lampton just mentioned, but also the broader health and well-being of students, with more than 35% of parents very or extremely concerned about their children's mental health. Both students and teachers are suffering from anxiety, depression, cabin fever, isolation. I read a report that an estimated 167,000 children in the United States have lost parents or primary caregivers to COVID-19. And while this information may sound horrible, imagine how much worse it is for our Black and our brown children, right? We know that prior to the pandemic, our Black and brown children were already lagging behind their peers in academic achievement, right? Black and brown children are more likely to be suspended, retained, drop out of high school, and be recommended for special ed services, right? So there was also a report by the Urban League today about the state of Black America, and it reported that while Black people have made significant gains in economic and health gains, they've slipped far behind whites in education, social justice, and civic engagement since they started to study different statistics on Black people in 2005, right? So, you know, given all the information I just shared, we owe it to our Black and brown children to come together as a community and resolve this issue of unfinished learning. In New York City, we are working to combat that issue. We've opened back schools, right? We have lifted the mask mandates for students in K through 12. And we started this year by administering screeners, right, to determine students' math and literacy skills. We did this to capture qualitative data to measure the true impact that the pandemic is having on our students. We also administer something called the DESA, right? I think it stands for Devereaux Student Strength Assessment, right? And basically it assesses 8 social and emotional competencies, right? Self-awareness, social awareness, self-management, relationship skills, personal responsibility, among other things. And basically, once each school was able to capture this data, we have what's called instructional leadership teams in our school. And those instructional leadership teams did a root cause analysis and looked for high leverage issues that, if addressed, could lead to significant student achievement. We are far from where we want to be as it relates to compensating for this huge learning loss, but I think we're going in the right direction. And I'll return it back to you. Thank you.
Wow. All right. Dr. Evans.
Well, once again, thank you, Brother Williams, and I'm certainly honored to be on this podcast with such distinguished educators who have shared some really profound insight into where we are in education. And certainly at the heart of that is the void that was created by being in virtual learning as a result of the pandemic. But that has created something that has compounded the existing problems that we have in schools, and in terms of social injustice. Dr. Cooper talked about the deficits that already existed in the Black and the brown community. But I think that there's some things here that are really crucial if we're ever going to get ourselves back into a balance. And I think the balance is the crucial thing, is that we, for many years, we were married to the concept of racing to the top, which started in the Obama administration. And so many schools and school districts were, really looking at the impact of academic performance in the classroom and what that meant to their rating as an effective academic institution. And throughout that time, they ignored some key components of student learning and student achievement. And that would be social emotional well-being. And Dr. Lampkins mentioned something I think which is crucial, and that is mindfulness for both students and staff. But in order to really effectively look at the underlying factors that allow students to achieve, we have to make that a priority. And I can say that I don't think it is a priority or hasn't been, even when we know that this exists. And a lot of I've seen some really genuine and helpful programs that have been interjected that deal with social emotional well-being. But those are just, I think, just the kinds of things that we're doing on a temporary basis. They may become a part of the program, but I don't see that gains as much attention as the whole academic expectations. And we have to do this. We already have a deficit. We know that. And for some communities, it's an even greater deficit. But there is much to be said around professional development, parallel with whatever we do in assessments, whatever we do in academic preparation. So it's really an important area. But I say that the only way, from my vantage point, that we're going to be able to effectively get back to where we were in terms of having a decent balance and a great opportunity to make a difference in the lives of children is that we have to have that street outreach. And by that, I mean focusing on the partnership of school, home to school, getting parents more involved, being culturally responsive and aware and positive in terms of what we look at doing. In other words, meeting students where they are, meeting families. We're not going to change this. One of the downfalls of the virtual education is that, at least in my district, so many students did not have the cameras on. You couldn't tell what they were doing. And a lot was lost. So, it's accountability. There was no collaboration. They weren't with their classmates and they weren't directly with their teachers. And that has an impact. So we've got a long way to go, but we do have vehicles that can put us in a much better position to make a difference in the life of children so they can not only be successful in school, but they can win at life.
Well, let me say this. Great comments. As we look forward, what are some of the solutions for students, for parents, for educators to bring about the best outcomes? You had referenced make hope happen. How do we do that for my child, for your child?
Well, I think it starts by valuing what both parents and students have to say. In that clip, you saw where student voice is a powerful tool. So number one, we have to respect and value both student and parent voice, because there's a lot of, especially in our immigrant community, they don't trust the school, so they don't participate, and they have to deal with certain aspects of education that, it's not going to be a balance. I mean, survival is a big, important thing, but I think it starts with, we can't do this alone. It's just things are too difficult. And when you look at social injustice, anti-racism, you mentioned earlier about the political climate in this country and perhaps around the world. This is a lot, but we've got to put students in a better position. And I think working together closely in the community with street outreach is going to give us a better chance of being successful.
Thank you. Thank you. The best things about life is that you get to define it. Dr. Lampkin, what would they say about how we handle this pandemic? What do you think about that?
Well, I'm not sure that there is the necessary planning with goals and strategies to meet the challenges that are before us. Right. You see, the thinking generally was, okay, let's get back to school, let's get the doors back open, etc. Okay, but what we're gonna do with them once we get there is the more important issue. How are we going to incorporate mindfulness, mental wellness, academic enrichment? How are we going to incorporate all of that into our daily routine? Because to continue to just go forth and teach and teach and teach, that's not helping a lot. just more that they're not going to know when they get finished. So I think it takes a great deal of planning. There must be an integrated approach to wellness and academics, and all staff must be trained accordingly.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hey, Jeff, we can have this conversation for the next 2 hours of great comments from our experts. As another segment of Q's on the Move come to the close, I thought it'd be fitting that we show you the clip. History has been made. The world is transforming right before our eyes. Congratulations to Judge Brown Jackson for her confirmation as an Associate Justice on the United States Supreme Court. So we're going to ask our guests to, after they see this clip on the judge, that they'll have their closing remarks and any thoughts with this historic appointment. Can we go to the clip? Thanks. In this clip, she was talking. I was hoping that you can hear it. She was giving, the question was asked, what would be your message to the youth? And she shared a story being from Florida public school system, her first visit to Harvard University. As she was walking the campus, a lady, as she describes, an African-American faculty member, stopped her and leaned over and said one of our cardinal principle words. She leaned over and told a young judge, persevere, persevere. I can't do like her. She got all choked up because it was real. And that's the message to our young people, to persevere. And that's what the clip was really about. And so as we come to a close, we'll start with Dr. Lampkins, his closing remarks and his thoughts on this historic moment. Thank you.
Well, I have to tell you, I came through in a time when I could not have imagined a female, an African-American female, being appointed to the Supreme Court of the United States. But I am proud, I'm excited, and I have my own personal thoughts. But I'm glad that she is of the darker hue, and I'm glad that she has braids. What can I say? That excites me.
Dr. William Cooper.
So one of the things that resonated with me was Justice Jackson's story of telling her guidance counselor in high school that she wanted to attend Harvard, and her guidance counselor wanted her not to set her sights so high. And it resonated with me because when I was aspiring to go to Hampton University, which is my alma mater, the guidance counselor at the time cautioned me to stay in New York and attend the feeder school that the high school was connected to. So, I resonate with her perseverance. I resonate with her determination to not allow anyone to stop her from fulfilling her lifelong goals and passion. And so I salute her, and I'm proud that we have made history once again, and hopefully she will be more than just a figurehead, but that she will actually tip the scales of justice in the favor of those who have been marginalized historically in this country.
Dr. Lee Evans, closing remarks.
Well, I'm not going to be repetitive. I want to thank my colleagues for their insight into this, but I think it centers for me around what she said in terms of perseverance. If you look at the history of our people, perseverance has been, the cornerstone of what we've done, through slavery, through Jim Crow, through the injustices, all the way up to where we are right now, is that we shall survive and we will rise, and so will she. She will have an impact on the court, and I think we all will be proud. All of us will be proud as Americans of what she will bring.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much
Absolutely.
for sharing your thoughts. Jeffrey Diggs, you got any closing remarks?
Man, just with as with the Obama administration when they came forth with Judge Brown Jackson, she is setting a standard for our youngsters, especially our young Black females. You can do anything. Go forth. The door is open. The ceiling, the glass ceiling has been shattered.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, look, family and friends, history makers in this moment. We've had three. We just discussed a Brown Jackson Supreme Court appointment is a history maker for America. And to our students, we want to make sure you clearly understand, and to your parents, we encourage you to become history makers in your own family and community. Become history makers. That's what it's about. If I can get the next slide as we move to a close with this segment of Q's on the Move. It's about voting. And so Congressman Van Hollen out of Maryland, his statement was, it's a joyous day. We have made history together by confirming Justice Brown Jackson to serve on our national highest court. He strongly reminded us the danger that lies ahead without important victories at the ballot box. November the 20th, this historic confirmation would not have been possible. He emphasized we did it together. And my message is vote in every election. Vote early and vote every time, local and national. Midterms or elections are right around the corner. A lot is at stake in our country. You see what I see. Vote. Next slide, please. All right. We are so excited about the 74th District, 2nd District Conference. It's going to be on Thursday, April the 28th through May the 1st in the great state of New Jersey. There, I attended Rider College. I was programming as a young 16, 17 in New Jersey. So we're excited to be up in the Meadowlands, and we invite you to join the 2nd District Omega Psi Phi fraternity starting on Thursday with a public forum about 6 o'clock at the hotel. And we got a whole week of activities. Next slide. The one that we are excited about is our Youth Leadership Conference. I want to give a shout out to Brother Matt Stevens. He's leading that effort. And a topic that fits in line with our discussion today is mental wellness. So we want to invite parents and students and mentors to join us on Saturday, April 30th, 2 p.m. at the Meadowlands Hilton Hotel. We are in the main ballroom, and our topic is, it's okay not to be okay. And we got an NFL star that's going to join us to talk about mental wellness. So please register now and meet us and join us on April the 30th in the Meadowlands. And Jeff, with that, I think we're running out of time. So we're going to go through the closing remarks with your remarks, my friend.
Yes, again, just a reminder that Q's on the Move airs every Tuesday at 8 p.m. on 8 p.m. on Facebook Live. And you can always go to 2nd District Fatherhood and Mentoring YouTube channel, where you can see all of the videos that have been produced over the past 5 years. And so with that, I just want to bid everyone a great evening.
My friends, it's been an honor to have history makers on this segment of Cues on the Move. Brother Dr. William Cooper, Queens, New York. Dr. Lee Evans out of Montgomery County, my friend, MCPS. And brother, the esteemed Dr. Carlton Lampkin out of Delaware. Thank you so much, my brothers. Thank you for sharing your thoughts, your strategies on how to make our education system work and keep hope alive. Thank you so much. Be blessed. Be safe.
Thank you.
Wear your mask. Watch your distance.